the details. Let me show today's agenda that I would like to share. You will learn how to search for the PaPs. We will learn how to add PaPs to an existing dossier. How can be edited in the wizard, in the PaP wizard when we are adding the PaP. We will see how to edit the train parameters, edit the calendars, copy subpath with PaPs. And after we will check the path variance view, including the user variants, we will go back to the timetable. We will create some template, how to copy from the template itself, and either we can send the harmonization. Also, we will check how to edit the PaP either in the harmonization if we still have time. I was thinking of that maybe it's good also to check it how to accept an alternative offer if we have still time. But the main goal is really to create a dossier from the PaP search, and we will check when you have a long stretch how to create it with a couple of steps when starting from the PaP search and not using the create dossier wizard. So it looks quite detailed. I hope you will enjoy it. So let me go back to the main screen. As I have mentioned, I will start it with a PCS test 1 hour training session. This is what we will use. And the reason is why this is going to be the public for you. You can access it anytime, whenever you would like to explore or you really would like to have and gain knowledge of PCS. You can log in with your company abbreviations, and it does not require any individual usernames. You will be able to use for each of the accounts the same password. So the test account page, it has been published between our documentations. As I have mentioned, if you would like to have a little bit deeper knowledge, or either if you want to keep trainings or to even test any complex issues that you have to find out the calendar inconsistency, or before you placing the PaP request in the production system, you can use the test one. Our documentation is placed at the moment on content management system. We are working to be migrate into our RNA SharePoint. Our RNA IT team is working to create the access rights, but what we will also communicate out how would you be able to access it later on when the migration is completed, when the all accounts has been set up. We would like to also make sure then our documentation is publicly will be available as it before. So as I have mentioned it, you should even once you have a new features that you are not familiar with before going to the test systems and the productions, then you can, we recommend you to check our documentation, how our documentation is being structured. You can see it on the screen, accessing by the link. I think it's better if I share it, let's see, in the chat as well, then you will have the link and you can check it by yourself later on whenever you have time. Okay. So it has been divided into 4 sections. One section is for the videos. We have created some videos in the past, and also we are planning to create some short videos about the features and the options. Then you can be visualized and maybe you can pick up the knowledge easily. The other part is of the guidelines. The guidelines is a sort of how-tos and what does it mean, the sections. So for example, you can see how to create the dossier from the wizard. We have it also created from the PaP search, or how to create composite relations. Whenever there is a new features, we always create I mean, when it's developed into the production system, we try to be in line with the new developments, and we also create the how-tos or either any description that it's required to use it. Okay, let's check the next sections. That's the main sections of the documentation. We have the references. The references where you will be able to catch up basic informations like what is PCS, what are the PCS basics, process type, constraints, phase description, who can be the participants, also who can, where to find the process documents if you are not so familiar with that, and more information like how access to PCS or basic data control links, and so many more that many more topics that you can be familiar with if you just visit our documentation and read our articles. Okay, and the next important thing of the references, then you can find the BCS test accounts page. This is important because this is what you're going to be shared, and you can choose of the any of the account to use BCS itself on either when you're testing it or either then for other training purposes with your colleagues. Okay, let me share this with you as well. If we go back and leave the references, we will have the Fox. Fox is just by experiences we have collected a small sort of questions, then which is going to help you self-resolving your issues. Okay, that's all about and the documentations. Let me keep open the test account page. I will go back to the same place, because on the test accounts page you will find all of the companies. Once we register a company, we make sure then the test account has been created also for the agency. And if you see the login ID, most of the cases is in line with the company. And you can see also the agency type of the company. Is it going to be a freight or a passenger? And this depending on the business needs, what you would like to test and which of the applicant then you will choose. As I said, then PCS test one is the public one, then we use for the training purposes. We also have some other test systems. We have test 2, test 3, and test 4. But for test 2 and test 4 is reserved for the tough TSI and interface testing for those IAMs who are already preparing to submitting the PaP request via interface. We have also the test-free system. The test-free system contains the exact copy of your production data. And this is the environment when we also use testing between our developers. Whenever we have the requirements sent to them, we also test the new features when once it's going to be, or before it's going to be released into productions. And also use the test-free if you have some complicated issues, especially after the PaP request deadline. We try to keep this environment in line with the production system, then make it possible to assist you to solve your complicated issues that reported for us. For this training session, I have chosen the Slovenian cargo company. For the Slovenian cargo company, the username is going to be SZ-C. And with the same password that we do have it here. If you have, did I share it? Not really. Let me share the test account page with you. Then you are able to copy and paste the password. So as I said, the password is going to be PC5T, capital E 5T, that you need to type in. Let's log in now. Once we log in, you get to the dashboard. At this time, I will not talk about the dashboard, all of the hamburger menu, all of the filters, or either the main menus and the sub-menus and any other features. This is going to be, and also it has been covered by the beginner session. Then we are focusing on a little bit step over to the intermediate level when we have a dossier has been already created for the training purpose, where as I have said, when I will teach you some couple of things, then I have been shared at the beginning of the training at the agenda. Okay, if you see then on the right side by the labels, I've created a special label for this training session. Please click on the EJE RFC Training Online Start. On the dashboard grid, where we have the dossier available. And if you move your mouse to the name, then we can open it because it becomes a link. So let's open that. I hope you could open and access the system. What we do at the first time, we will copy this dossier because I would like you then you follow me along the training session. And of course, I cannot force anybody, but it will be really useful for you if you do what I am doing. Let's click on copy the dossier. If you see, then at the beginning, I'm using for this dossier the initial. This is something like a common rule that is used in the test systems in PCS, because if you are testing something and you would like to discover later and you have not finished it on the same day, then we know it is your dossiers and your colleagues also will leave it for you to complete. So it's better to have your to mark it, that is your ones. So if you do and you place your initials like A for Anna for me, and for the next two letters is coming from my surname, and you put RFC training online or something similar, that you will be able to identify later your dossier. After, the most important, please do not press copy. Then please check the checkbox for the applicant timetable, include the calendar. If you have copied it without including the calendar, then we have to fix the calendar days because it will be empty. So please recopy it again. I will not press copy, but you can do it. I press cancel for this purpose because I have my own dossier to be created to follow you. Okay. Were you able to get to this point? Do you have your own dossiers created?
Yes, everything's fine.
Super. Okay. So once we open the dossier by default, it will be navigated and starting with the basic data. The basic data, as you can see on the right side, it contains the basic information for the dossier for your PaP request. We can see the name as well. We can see here the name. It has been not just in the navigation, in the line itself. Then we have the basic information in this area. So all the basic dossier information are stored here. The next field, the next to the dossier name, we have the international train number. I have not added anything because is showing the field that is something is you can do or either you don't do. This is an optional field. So it's not mandatory to be filled. We can see that the dossier is created from the timetable period 2024. So we know by now, then according to PCS, the process type is going to be the new PaP request process types because we are preparing our dossiers for the next timetable period. The next thing is on the right side, what we can notice, the train type is going to be cargo. Once we logged in with the cargo company, then the system recognized and the train type by default will be cargo. I would stop for a little bit just to mention, not long ago, we had opened the opportunity to use in PCS and enabled in PCS more train types, like next to cargo and passenger, which was the main category. You can also select locomotives, maintenance train, and so on. But it is important before you do so, you will be contacting, and this is what we ask to do in the near future. Please contact with your IM agency and ask it if they would accept any other kind of train types. Next thing then I would also mention, once you're creating the dossier, might be some of you are already familiar with that. And for those users who have the company profile, both agency, meaning they can create also cargo trains and also passenger trains. In the wizard, once you create, define your train type, this is the place where you can change it. So once if something is selected, you will not be able, once you create the dossier, you get to the open phase, it cannot be changed, and you have to start it again if you make a mistakes. So this is what I was going to mention regarding the train types. Okay, move further on to the right side. The right side, we have the dossier type. Oops. And the dossier type is always going to be default. I would like to mention then, if you're starting to use PCS and you are over for one timetable period, and once you would like to get to the point and you would like to copy your dossiers for the next timetable period, then do not create it from the scratch. You have the opportunity to copy it over. This function, so-called carry forward. Then once the dossier has been carried forward, don't be surprised when you do it at the first time, it's going to show status quo for you. Once the dossier has been carried forward, the dossier types changes into status quo. Okay, on the right side, this is something that you can add either in the open phase or either in the harmonization phase. But let's focus on the bottom part where we have the train ID. Okay, the train ID is used for the tough TSI communications. So it is important for those participants that you will be involving, if they already using the tough TSI interface, that this part is going to be important for them. But if you don't know those fields and if you are not ready with the interface or not connected, not working with the interface itself, then you leave this part empty. If you do not even know what are those fields, you just leave it, because once the dossier is created, PCS will does, and when you send the PaP harmonization or the PaP request, PCS does the job on behalf of you, so nothing to touch. You leave it as it is. If we scroll further, we can see then this part of the basic data separated into another section where we can see the participating companies and the involved agencies. There are big differences between them. Participating companies, those companies are who are, as it says, participating into the PaP request, and they are part of the coordinations. It means then once they are part of the PaP request, their lights is going to be used as the coordination responses. For the involved agencies, and that's why has it been separated, anybody who can be involved, who is going to be production only agencies. There are some production companies who are not active in PCS and not not part of the coordinations. They also can be like the same as the service agencies, also can be some IMs like I would say for the service agencies like crew companies or cleaning companies. They would like to know where the train will stop on the station and what time. You can grant for those agencies read-only rights. So they, as I said, they are not part of the coordination. They will not set any rights. They do not have edit rights. They just can read. That's the only role that they can get for the dossiers, for this dossier. Let's go back to the participating companies because as you can see, this is the first time when we can see the IM and applicant pairs in the dossier. Right now, what it has been created for these training purposes, the one is the Slovenian company, cargo company that I have been chosen in pair with the Slovenian IM. Also, then we can see the next pair. So my train departs from Slovenia going through to Austria, including Rail Cargo Austria applicant in pair with the Austrian IM ÖBB infrastructure, and when it's going to reach Slovakia with the Železnice Spolonice Cargo Slovakia company together, also together with the ZSR for the Slovakian IM agency. What we can do here, and we can also by editing of the basic data, it's possible. If you see, then on the right side of the sections, we have this pencil icon. Once we press it, you can update, either change the dossier name and the international train number. What you cannot update is the timetable, period, cargo type, and the process type as well that's generated once you create the dossier. The next is you can also change your mind. You can involve some other parties. Also, for example, let's do it because why not? We are at the training session. We will see how to edit the applicant pass. Let's say if I will be choosing for the Slovakian or another applicant, and I will be using the UIC code as a search criteria, and I still have the result. Also, you can do by typing the agency, and also you can do, if I just go back to delete to see how it works, you can use the company short name. So anything, if you hover over your mouse on the company name, then would be possible to find the applicant company. Like for my example, then I'm using, then it's going to be either a long name. Let me just correct it. Either a long name, if you do not remember for the long name, it doesn't matter because you can still also find it by the UIC ID and by the short name. So this is what I'm going to use. I will save my changes. And what had happened in the moment once I press save, the applicant company has been overwritten and replaced with the old one. So now I have in the dossier the new applicant LTE Logistic Transport Slovakia in pair with the Slovakian IMs at SRI. That's all about the basic data. Okay. I will not go through all of the left side on the dossier structure. Then the next one that I will go to is to the applicant timetable, because we would like to check the dossier, and also we would like to go and add a PaP to an existing subpath. So clicking on the applicant timetable, If you see what I have mentioned at the beginning when I was at the basic data, this basic information always stays on the screen. It doesn't matter whether you're navigating throughout either to the dossier, you will be still be able to remembering what is the process type, what is the dossier ID, what is the phase of your dossier that you're currently in. Let's click back to the applicant timetable. The next is next part. You can once you have added a label, then might be using for the future to really tag your dossiers or classify according to the routes to find them easily. Then the edit labels will be shown also in a separate section. The next useful thing that we see it at the first time, let me just close it because the otherwise we can see the name. It's called the outline. You can hide and unhide by clicking on the side with this minus and plus icon. This is it shows the geographical route of your the geographical route, how it will be going from the origin until the destination, and will be also the first time we'll be able to see the split, like we can in the purple one. If I click on it, I can see this is going to be the Slovenian territory. And the next one is going to be the Austrian territory, and the third one is the Slovakian territory. So the Slovenian, what else can we see, or all of the countries there where it has been designed by default. We have also the origin, we have also the destinations, and also we have the times. Showing at the border or either at the first location at the origin. So origin always showing the times, and by the departing times. What I would like also to advise you, whenever you create your PaP request and you're having problems like calendar inconsistency, really this is going to be the first thing to check it, because it will help you to identify easily the actual, if you're facing some calendar inconsistencies, especially for the negative border times. You just look at this presentation and you will be able to identify if something is wrong easily without going into the details and without trying to find out why you do have the problem with the dossier. It's very useful. Let's continue and seeing the applicant timetable. The applicant timetable, all of our timetables has been designed to having 4 separate tabs. First, we start with the territories. This is the split view of the territories, but we also have it like here on the outline. But now the differences between them, then we see only the short names of the company, how they registered in PCS, and if if we clicking on one location, one territory, then we will have all of the locations. Then we can see the whole timetable in the same view. That's the difference between them, including then also we have the origin and also we have the destination. If you see, we have the same view as we here, but what we do have, we have with the calendar tooltip, it's showing for us without going into the territory calendar. If we want to have a quick glance to get informed what are the running days. Okay, to use this tooltip when you hover over to your mouse. So we have the split in line with the outline, and let's check the timetable. As I said, the train departs from Slovenia and reaching the border Spielfeldstraße at 2051. On the next territory, it's reaching the Austria territory 2110, going to the border to Bratislava Petržalka at even 3:30, including we can notice that we will have we departing from the day before, and it reaches the border the next day. So the running days are from 135 will be changing after leaving Austria, because this is going to be 2-4 day. That's going when it's reaching to Slovakia. The midnight crossing and the days of offset has been detected automatically by PCS, and it automatically shifted the days, the calendar days. Everything looks okay. We don't have any warnings. We will check some warnings in later, and it looks harmonized. Then let's check all of the locations. We have noticed it. Then once we adding a simple location to the system, it will be highlighted with the light, something sort of light gray border on the left side. We will have it on all of the location. These locations, how we call it in PCS language, these are the tailor-made locations. If we click all of the locations, we can see they are all tailor-made. Now we will add PaP to this dossier. We will decide then to use one PaP offer. But before that, you have to be familiar with how the PaP search will working. And in these special cases, I will be using test-free system. What I would like you to stop here a bit and just watch me on the screen, because in test free, and this is as I have mentioned, this is going to be our demo environment with the default developers. The new features that we have been already developed and implemented in the system, or at the moment only just available for test free. So please just stop and watch with me how the search will look like. For this purpose, I will using the same agency, but be aware we have different usernames for the test free system, so you will not be able to access it. I click login. The PaP search is going to be, if you go from the top, from the left, next to the My Dashboard, is located in the pre-constructed products, if I click on it, and the first sub-menu is going to be the PaP search. If you probably, because we are talking about it and we would like to teach you, then always use the test one system, and test one system is used by any of your colleagues. If you have anything already in the search, like saved as a criteria, then you will start it if it's not useful for you to reset. Once pressing the reset, it will reset back to the default view. This is how the PaP search, if the first time you will be using, look like. Okay, let's go through the fields. I would like to show you how it works and what are the new features, including what are the new icons that it can be discovered in the search. So timetable period 2024 in the first field is already selected. Of course, we are creating our dossier, and this is how we started our sessions as well. We're preparing for the new timetable period 2024. By default, it has been selected. Of course, if you are would like to create and use like PaP offers for the timetable 2023, you're creating some ad hoc dossiers, and you would like to use the reverse capacity has been loaded by our corridors, then you just change the timetable period and by selecting the 2023, and you hit the search after. If you select the type of pre-constructed products, for those who are not using PCS at the first time, might be familiar. For those who are using at the first time, then you will see some new indication, field indication in the system. Once the field is indicated with red icon like this, it means you have to type something in or select from the drop-down list in order to be able to save. I have not added anything, so the search button is still disabled. I can press it, but nothing will happen. So it requires you to put any input, and then you will be able to save or you'll be able to forward it. Please remember when you see a red star. In the system, we also have some type of indication, some other colors. They highlighted with marked with yellow star. That means if you find, and we will find also when getting to editing the train parameters, the yellow one means it is mandatory field indication. You do not need to enter at the same step any input to the field. You can do it later. Okay, next field is going to be also the train type, for the train type, already the cargo is selected by default for very simple reason. PaPs are cargo business, so either if you make any mistakes, you have selecting any of those and you press the search and you wonder, then nothing will happen and my grid is not generated with the result. It is because of that the PaPs are only existing for cargo train type. They are cargo business, belong to cargo business. You just avoid this field because this has been removed in this new version of the PaP search. We will be able to check it later when we're going back and continuing with our dossier. It used to have another options, and that is other catalog paths for CT. That feature has not been used since 2020, and we decided to remove it or hide it from the system. We still have left this field when you have searching for the exact ID number, as in case of the PaPs with the next field. We also have this in the PaP catalogs. If you know the exact PaP catalog number, then entering the number and you hit the search button, it will show directly with the result below in the grid. So at the moment, we do not enter anything. We will use it later. Going back to the next, to continuing the first level of the searching criteria, we have the directions, and this development is also new. Before that, now you at the moment, as you see, we have all, if you're clicking on the number that it showed in the drop-down list, all of the location has been selected. Before that, in the old version, all what you had to do for all of our users, they started the job with selecting this one and this one and this one and this one. So we listen our users and we are working together with core corporations for the FTE members, and this was one of the change requests and the changes that they requested to have to make and to make the more user-friendly PCS and avoid unnecessary clicks. So now what you have to notice, it is already pre-selected. Nothing to do, you just need to deselect what is not needed, or if you leave it like as it is, you will use the full search criteria with all the other fields together. Next field is going to be the RFC corridor. The RFC corridor is also contains all of the corridors. So our corridors, until the beginning of January, they create and they defining their PaP import files. Then they also at the beginning, I think this is the 9th of January, they have the deadline to publish it. And after the deadline, once they published into the system, they have also 2 weeks to do any corrections especially if we think of the case when suddenly TCR pops up and they need to modify the route. It's possible for them, and at the end of the January, then the PaP offers are ready for all of you, for applicants to use it and to make an offer. To request it in your PaP request to place it. If we select, of course, we have on the drop-down list also simple select all. Then we select all. You do it on the left side, not on the text, because it will not happen anything like here. You click, and once you click, you always have to check, then you have the check mark also shown. If you do not have it, then of course you have not selected anything. Now for this search purpose, we will leave all of the corridors, and I should mention also another change request has been raised by the FTE members that has been accepted, and we thought is a good idea. Before that, in the old version, we had only the corridor names showing, like Rhine Alpine, North Sea Mediterranean, and North Scandinavian, and so on until the end. And they requested also, sometimes it's hard to remember, or you have so many PaP requests to remember the RFC number. So it was a requirement to place the RFC number with the correspondence with the name together. So, and also we changed the alpha, we killed honestly the alphabetical order, how it was presented by the names before. Now the order is done by RFC1 into ascending order until RFC 11 amber. This is all about these fields and the changes that we do had. So RFC dossier type, I will stop a little bit here because we get into another interesting part when I would like to talk about the some of the restrictions that the corridors they can define. So first of all, once they importing the PaPs, they can make decisions what the PaP type will be, the dossier type. It can be either, if I click on it, now it's saying, it can be by default on this search is going to be the Fix PaP, or it can be the Flex PaP. So if you think of what could be this annotation meaning the Flex PaP Fix, then it makes your thinking. So if something is Flex PaP, it means, and I will start it with that is going to be more easier. This is like a short name of the flexible. So Flex PaP means you can construct the way you wish and according to your business needs. It will be also has a different indication. We will get to it in a second. Actually, I have created just for presentation purposes. Please avoid the Applicant Timetable. The main goal is now at the moment to check how the PaPs will look like whenever you have a long PaP stretch when you add it to your dossier. This dossier is created directly from starting from the PaP search first, and not from the dossier wizard, what you have at the screen at the beginning when you create normally the dossier, or without copying. So once PaP is Flex, it has the blue border. As you can see on the screen, all the PaP stretches are Flex. And as I said before, Flex PaPs are meaning the name is just, it will tell you with the short naming, then flexible, what we can do with the Flex PaP. But first of all, let's check what are the options that we do have here. All of the PaPs then has the origin and the destination. This is how it's imported and prepared by our corridors easily to find the product that we are looking for and what we would like to add to our dossier. Also, you can see this, this is important for the PaP number. each of the offer has a PaP number, and once PaP sections going through for various countries, then it's going to have the most of the cases when it's a long stretch, the same PaP ID. What I really would like to emphasize then, our corridors, they cooperating and together, and they try to support you on the best possible ways. They have been created and defined all of these long PaP stretches and the PaP sections to be harmonized with the times. What else can we see? Also on the header, if you see there is an icon indication, this is going to be, if I see, like a chain, it's like symbolizing something like it's open, like break, open. Possibility to visualize you, then this can be edited. And the next useful feature that we do have it, if you click on this little arrow, and if you have like long stretches, like not just two, you can imagine, and you have 3, 4, 5 or more, and you would like to check the times, and here we can see those times are already harmonized. We will go in a second to edit the dossier as well. So this is the option then you can use to collapse and to check the times if it needs to be adjusted. Okay, let's go into edit mode because this is important to know. As you can see, once you add, and we will add it also later, this is just the introduction of the Flex PaP. The Flex PaP can be adjusted the way you can add sections to the top. You can add so-called feeder point, which is not part of the PaPs section. You can also add the times. You can construct the same way as when you're creating the normal tailor-made locations. You can also change the times. Everything is editable. Why not? I can say I can put like 50, no problem. You can change the activity type, you can change also the location type, you can add the train numbers, you can delete the locations. Now I won't delete, but you can do that, later you can test it. And you can add dwell times, whatever need to your business need. I can insert in the middle, I can add then an intermediate and other locations between the two PaP stretch when I need it for the whole journey when I want to define. It's just depending on your business needs. Also, there is one options that I have to mention and teach you how to correct the things. Once if you make the mistake, or if you've been adding to your PaP to your PaP request the wrong PaP, you can press clear or PaP capacity. With the clear, it means it will be clearing and making a copy of tailor-made. So whenever the indication, whenever we have like which is going to be a PaP, that will be cleared, that will be shown as the tailor-made locations. What is good to know, because this is for all of the PaP that we have here, it will be done with one click. But each of the PaP header section of the origin and destination path, we will have the same options, because this is clearing only the one that we have selected. We can also do the removing of the PaP dossier, but be aware, once you press remove, it means it will be deleted, and you need to fix actually the dossier by adding the origin and the destination, and to fulfill the minimum PCS constraints, the requirements to have two locations when creating the subpath. So this is all about how to edit the PaP section, how the Flex PaP would look like. Now I press cancel. I will not save any changes. Let's go and move to the next one that I would like to present you, and this is the Fix PaP. Fix PaP, like fix, not much we can do. Now we can think of the naming. The indication of the Fix PaP is going to be like this. It's like the chain sequence, like presenting the sequence of locations added to the PaP section. And it's also symbolizing like it's closed, it's not breaked, but you can do the same feature. You can collapse and also reopen it. We have the same as for the same presentation for the origin and the destination where the PaP section is going, and we also have the PaP ID number. And let me show you if I edit how it would look like once we edit. As I said, it's going to be fixed. We don't have any buttons to construct to add PaP sections to it, any other points. But the only thing you can do, you can remove, and you cannot also change the time. They are has been defined as restrictions. This is how you have to accept it. If it is going to be suitable for your needs. The only thing you can do is just to edit the train parameters, or there is one, actually two exception for the Fix PaPs. If we have the pattern here, add PaP sections, and why not? Because I can add more locations at the top when those are not part of the PaP and as a feeder point. I can add, and I will show you at this time this one. I will just duplicate the same location. Olden Zaal, sorry. Olden Zaal, let's edit at the top with a different timing. How the system will change the moment if I save. I press save, either we have the button is fixed, and when I go to edit, this is the only exception. If you see the changes now, before that it was also grayed out without stopping you to edit. But once you add the point on the top as a feeder point, the arrival time becomes editable. And if you do the same for after the last section of the PaP point, you add again another one, then the departure time will be enabled, and once it's connected, then PCS lets you to update. I think this is all about the PaPs and the main type of having the restrictions when the first time has been defined. Let's go back to the PaPs. Now we know what does it mean. In the search, we have left also the default for the Flex PaP. The reason is that when in the import file, it was designed and developed, the old import file, then the default settings was for the Fix. And now it has been changed for the new import files for the corridors for their request, because mostly their PaPs are Flex PaPs. In some of the cases, they advertising the Flex PaPs. Okay, that's all about the first restrictions made by the RFC dossiers type. The second one will be the parameter limitation. They can define in the PaPs itself, into the locations, any points. Once once they are publishing the train parameter with the train parameters their PaP offers on the stations, they can also tell that it's going to be restricted or recommended. Restricted means we can easily find out something is just not allowed. They will be able to publish it with the max train load, train weight, and train length values, including with the length of the carriage set and the weight of the carriage set. And the other way, what we can also offer and also defined then the recommended values when there is the maximum values which can be exceeded. We will see this when we are also editing the PaP, when we adding to our dossier. So now we know what does it mean, the parameter limitation, and that's why I had to stop a little bit to tell you about the PaPs. Until now, do you have any questions regarding the PaPs? Okay, silent is just, I take it as everything was okay. Let's go to the next level of the PaP search. This is opened with the train parameter. The train parameter section has been separated for the main top level searching criteria. You can add additional train parameters, but before that, let me hit the search button. Now we want to have all the PaPs from the timetable 2024 for all the PaPs and including all directions with all RFCs without any restrictions that we would need. Let's press the PaP search, how the table of the result will look like now and will be look like in the future. And that's why we thought it's going to be important for you to know how to handle the new PaP search. Okay. We can see then the PaP search has been divided into two parts. First section itself is the criteria itself, and the next section, the result will be shown in a little bit separated view. This result table, we call it in PCS language, or I think it's just not just in PCS, then some other MS applications, then also a grid, the presentation of the PaP offers. And let's go through on the grid generally. What is used on the screen. So first of all, just a moment. So continue with the grid itself, starting with if you see we have the checkbox here. This serves the need then to select the individual PaPs. Then you will need to later add to your dossier for the selection of the PaP section. Next column is going to be the calendar. So before that, as I have moved my mouse to the calendar header, then you would notice it that my mouse is turned into 4 arrows. You might be familiar some other MS applications when the mouse is turning into 4 arrows, then it's meaning if you hold down the mouse button, then you are able to move it whenever you want. So I can do this, but now I will be placing back to the original place. What is the next? I have moved my mouse to the separation of the column and it turned into 2 side arrows, meaning I can adjust the width of the column whatever I need. If I need smaller, if I need bigger, I can do this. Also, then in some cases, then in most of the column headers, then you will see this icon. This icon is going to be the filter, but let's move it to the directions because it has a bigger pop-up window, and you can search according to the following criteria that Inet did. But in some cases where we have the origin and the destination, we have been listing more criteria for, and this gives you the opportunity for more options. Okay. Before jumping to the PaP ID or to the origin, let's continue with the second one. Then you notice it. We have a new indication on the grid. This going to be presenting and shown in the future for the restricted PaPs. The same as we have also here. As can be selected as a criteria, it has been shown on the grid the way it is, like restricted. And once then I click on it, I do have the option to either to select what is equal to or not equal to for the criteria that I would like to add restricted or recommended. The next column is going to be the direction. This is, and may you notice it, you will have also in the header, two of the icons, makes it possible with the direction to sort order into ascending order or descending order. And we also have the built-in together the two of the options to filter, as we have it in the PaP ID number, as we have it in the origin and all the other train parameters. Going further, for the next is going to be the Flex and Fix PaP. This is the icon indication. It's just showing then what is the type of the dossier that has been added. And the phases and the type is going to be always published. Bubble is going to be the RFC PaP. Next column is the PaP ID, and so on together with the origin, destination, and what is new. I have already made some highlighting of all of the headers. We have the train parameters visible on the grid. This was not available before, and what we can also see when we're going back to our dossier, that's not shown, and it was also NFT requirements to have useful to easily find your PaP and that what is need and to wider than to the criteria. We have on the grid new things. Again, we can see new icons. But before that, we can also able to customize the column headers and the columns that will be showing on the grid. If you click on the columns button, once you press this, those are the fields are by default part of the grid. If you the moment untick something, and let me do it with the PaP ID or with the train weight. Actually, this is on the screen. Have you noticed what happened? The moment once I have untick the checkbox or I tick the checkbox, the grid will be immediately changing according the settings that I want to have. What is not part of the grid? We have all of the train parameters, including the profile, the special profiles as well. If I click the checkbox and I close the column setting customizations, I need to scroll to the end because this is the end of the list. So do not forget, once you untick or once you added any extra or the profile filters and you are not seeing, the reason is that you have to scroll back and forward to find the field that you are that you have added before. Okay, I have just mentioned then new things on the grid also been implemented, like if you see this small little icon, then it like an information icon giving you the information if you hover over your mouse to the icon. There are PaP sections with bigger values in the PaP. If we open this PaP, but I would also go here on the origin. That was not a part of the grid previously, to having the quick view of the root class and the local type number that is used in the PaP, but what has been by default published with these parameters. Let me open this PaP itself because it's going to be interesting. We will already have this new icon. So I have here 2670 for the train weight. And if I open the PaP stretch, first of all, I can make sure that we had the indication of the two locals, which is right. I have one local 1 number here. I have local 1 number 2. I can use it as it is. And also the next is, let me check then for, okay, I have 2617. Then I have also for the train weight, and here is the indication which was shown on the grid. Then I have PaP sections with bigger values in the PaP. This is true. We have at the second station 2700, so it will be helping us to really find the right PaP, to add it, to request it and place it into our PaP requests. Okay, I will close this one. Just do not want to confuse anyone. Then if I click on the next tab. Okay, what is new? I think I have covered everything that we do have. And by the calendar, I think some of you are familiar. If you could move your mouse to the calendar tooltip, then you will be showing either the days are 1 to 7 available, but for example, it's also showing with gray color in the calendar when the days are not available, because like seeing the 242 from the 7 circulation days, we can make sure, okay, this is fine to use it. But if you see the gray indication, and when you move your mouse over the tooltip, then it will be shown the days where or the months where the PaP is not running or will not be available. Just in advance, if you would like to order a PaP between running from 2 and 7 days, it's also useful to check if it's available for the entire year or not. Next section will be interesting, as I said, for the train parameters. The train parameters helping you to find the right parameters. For example, if I'm searching for, let's say, those PaPs, then I need the train weight is going to be equal or bigger than 2000. I can do that. I can press the search, and let's see what happens. It will take some time. At the first glance, the grid is showing to us the right values, but if I maximize the screen, and sorry, I will be really just a little bit scrolling into the details, or maybe changing the results. I will be not trying to scroll so quickly. But let's go back to the end. But on the case might be, and that's why I wanted to get, for example, there is one rule to remember. If you have the PaP S, and this is the icon for the recommended, then the train parameters criteria will not work. We have everything shown in like a mixture. What you need to remember, in case once using the train parameter sections, you have to have only for the parameter limitations on the restricted is working. So don't be surprised if you forget to set it. If you have, you may be complaining, okay, the grid is not working because I have various values to be shown. As because of that, if you press restricted and I press search, all the grid and on all of the pages, even if I go to, let's do the 72, still have been showing the right values. I do not want to increase the size of the rows because might be just, I do not want to kill your eyes by quickly scrolling through the grid. Okay, and also, just to remember, when deeply narrowing down the search criteria as to the train parameters, so if you just would like to have the information, then you will ask like to understand the way that you would like to have PaPs to be shown like with 2000 equal or bigger. If you have so PCS will show you those PaPs only. If you, of course, you need to have lower train weight, then you have to lower and do the search again. I think that's all about the new PaP search window. Now you know and you get familiar with that, how to handle with the new features together, and I hope you will be able to use it in the future. I will be going back next step with the dossier. And now let's use to add. Now I have selected Slovakia already. Now we know that we have how the new PaP search work. We will check it and we will add PaP to this subpath, to this territory. Click on the, now I will ask you to work on your dossiers and follow along with me again if it's possible. Okay. We go to add PaP. This is the feature and the button, the options that you need to access it once you would like to add PaP to your existing subpath. We click the add PaP and don't be surprised, it will be opening the PaP search window. I shouldn't say now this is the same, but with the main feature, yes, it is the same. And I have left it open for the purpose to see the differences. That's the old format, which is going to be changed in the near future. The new version will be released soon. And you can notice the differences here. The list appearing, and that was the city catalogs that I have mentioned, and it has been removed. We also, I have already selected and done some search to have in PCS test 1. Do not do the configuration again. Now let's go to search for all of the corridors, because we would like to find out then are there any PaP available for our business needs, meaning to place it into the dossier between going from Bratislava, Petržalka. Let's see what is going to be available. One important thing I would like to just also mention, once you do the filter on the PaP ID field, and once you click on the field, you will have been showing the list of PaP IDs. Those are already the IDs that we have it in the system. And if you do not click again the checkbox, the PaP will not be selected for to be shown. Now I will not need those PaPs. I will clear. I will be searching because I don't know the number of the PaP ID number that I would like to use it in the dossier. Now I will go to the origin. The only thing I know for sure, I will press select the contains criteria. I will type the location, and if you do remember, we had for the dossier Bratislava Petržalka. I start to type it. I do not even need to fully type in the word. It should be able to find. I have, according to this, 10 result, which is great. I just maximize the screen and the grid of showing the result to me. Now I can see all of the stretch and I will be choosing. Maybe I have something until the destination. And I can see that I have one PaP, which looks like it's going to be the suitable by the times. I can select it, and now I do the same if I click on Add to Dossier and press Add to Dossier. Do you have on the same result by adding a PaP on the screen in your dossiers as well?
Yes, yes.
Oh, thank you, Dino. I thought I'm again lost. Or
So,
I'm losing you. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so once we selected the PaP and press the button at Dossier, it means then it opens with the Insert PaP wizard. The wizard has 4 steps that we have to go through, and it's helping us to add the PaP to our dossier. The first step is always says reordering of the PaPs. What it does mean, then if you do remember again these 4 arrows that we had it in the green when customizing and taking the opportunity to make the settings of the grid as according to your needs or how would you like it. We have the same options as well. If you hover over your mouse to the header of the PaP sections and pressing the mouse button, keep it pressed, then I will be able to place it whenever you want. Can you see this green? You can try to test it with me. You can move it to the place whenever you want. Now I will leave it at the bottom, how it has been replaced by default. It always, if you have any other locations, once you add the PaP to your subpath, it has been placed to the bottom. I am happy with this order. I will leave it as it is because I can see I still have to fix the dossier. I have the times duplicated, so I will fix it with the next step by pressing continue. Okay, as I said, we have the duplicate locations. Now we will remove the unnecessary locations. I don't need Bratislava Petržalka as a tailor-made, and I don't need Dunajska Streda. So both tailor-made locations can be removed. What I do have before I removing, don't forget to check the times. It's going to 340. So I have 350. It's all good. I do not even need. I'm happy with this 10 minutes. I can accept that. Even I don't need to change. And let's say then it's 547. We can do that. I would like to have 547. We'll leave it as it is originally it was. And now I press delete. Once you move your mouse over the delete red bin icon, it's always highlighted the actual PaP sections that you would like to remove. Okay, I will press remove now. Now everything looks okay. If I want, I can add dwell time. If I want, I can also edit the way, then adding more extra information if I need. I don't want to add anything. You can name the route. You can also add service days for the reference. The TSI variant ID, I would say that just leave it as it is. Let's continue. I'm happy with the PaP offer. This is what I would like to achieve to add it to my dossier. With the next steps, we're reaching the train parameters. And I think maybe at the beginning I have mentioned it, then some information's already published in the PaP. This can be seen when we add it to the train parameters, already then have been mentioned by the corridor, remembering this PaP has a special profile. But we were also able to see, and we are now in the future when we have the new PaP Search working into test 1, and once it has been released in production, you will be also able to search for the profile. But it's a useful indication in the comment that has been published and informing us, look, you have some special profile to be used. This PaP offer has been published with the recommendation of the ER20 local type number. We can see the parameters, then it's recommended up to 1600. Okay, what if we are saying now, I would like to change actually the local type number into 116. That's going to be my preference number, but the moment we have changed it, and the moment is the new values by doing the calculation, because the train weight, the train load itself is going to be nothing else, just the sum of the local traction weight and the weight of carriages set. If we can see, so we have 1600 on those fields here, and it's a sum of the traction weight with 86. So PCS does the job, the calculation for you. Nothing needs to be done manually, and it turned into really showing and giving the warning with yellow border and with yellow background and text saying the recommended value up to 1618. So the moment you exceed and something is recommended, you have the indication, but you are still allowed to exceed or add even higher values. Let's do if I do this at the moment, when I'm changing the weight of carriage set into a higher value, that I did it on purpose, because in the moment I would like to show you then we have some validation between the train weight and the weight of carriage set working in PCS. It is just helping you, and what it says, the value of the train weight must be greater than the value of the weight of the set of the carriages, because the train weight field is containing both values as a sum. Do not make any mistakes. Whatever needs to be done then to fix this, but first we apply for the length 500. It's going to be enough. What happened? With this value, I didn't have any warning as before when typing in the 1600 or when having the 2000, but also all of the values by turning the check mark into green has been accepted. But be aware, once if you could happen in the future, then if you do not get any warning, then it might be still would be really would like to teach you, whenever you changing the parameter values, always please press reset precalculation, because in the moment then you have the right parameter values in the system. And what we do with PCS before the PaP request deadline, we will do a quality check. So when you ever entering, like I said, like changing into 400, like a lower value, even if it's going to be, you see what's the difference now? You have entered 400, it's still acceptable because we have the lower amount of the train length, But if you think the calculation is not correct, we will do a quality check of the dossier and we will remind you, please press at the pre-calculation. But if you think, if you learn the way it is, whenever you enter the train parameters, always press reset pre-calculation. Then you will don't have this problem and you will not get such an email from us. That's some just an additional information. The next changes that we had compared to the previous version, there was a requirement to correct the fields which has more better meaning. Before that it was max train speed and it was confusing some of you. So we received valuable informations from our users, either from the PCS group meetings, and we changed the text into requested train max speed, and either we changed the field into the speed planned by IM, which can be considered by the applicant. Also with the maximum infrastructure speed, you leave it empty because this is not really for you. The field is what you are as an applicant you require to enter is what is going to be the requested train max speed, and let's do 100. We do the same considering what is in the offer already. Okay, we do not fill anything else. That's something then you can do it later by yourself to see the drop downs and the values that it's containing behind the parameter in PCS is stored. We do have also the container profile that was mentioned by the corridor before, and that's all we have for regarding the train parameters. We have fulfilled all the data, and actually we have seen what was also required. If I do this, I would like to return the sentence to that when I have told then we have the two type of field indication. One was the red, which is required, and this is the second one, the mandatory one. We call it mandatory. It's mandatory to be entered, but you can enter it and save it as it is. I could have do without leaving this field and empty and press the save button or press continue, then it will do. And PCS lets me to do it. But now we will go back. I will change it. Why not? Remember, press the reset pre-calculation button always, please. Now I will do something. I press copy parameters. And PCS is smart enough to tell us you have an unsaved changes. So whenever you go to the next step or whenever you go before you copy the train parameters, please now press go back. If you press cancel changes, everything will be cancelled and we go back to the original state when we open the train parameters. Then now we press save. That's the next thing to do. Do not forget to press save when you're going through on the wizard of the steps from especially when filling the train parameters or the subpath for the calendar preferences. Then I press continue. Let's go further. I'm happy with the parameter values that has been entered. I will not do anything. I will not do copy. Let's continue because we will do it later. What else can be seen in the next step is the calendar. The calendar also PCS helps us to recognize then on Slovakia. And if you remember when we had, and might be I can do it maybe better to help you to visualize the dossier itself. I can do this. I can duplicate. I can go back to the dossier to the applicant timetable. PCS is capable for not just only one user, then for multiple users, or to duplicate the tabs either. To open as many because this is depending the web browser application that you are using, and PCS is a web-based tool, so why not? We can do that. Okay, let's continue. If you go to the territory Slovakia and either before the territory, the previous territory, Austria, we know then the train has departed from Slovenia on day 135, reaching the Austria, the second territory, still the same day, but we have offset midnight crossing, so automatically, as I had mentioned, when introducing the dossier that we are working for, then it's going to be shifted automatically, detecting the offset 2, 4, 6 days. Okay, what we do have here on the calendar, PCS also detected what is going to be the running days on the Slovakian territory when placing the tailor-made locations to the PaP offer. We still have this. What I can do, either I can go further to press the check availability. What it does for us, it's checking in the PCS database when the PaP is imported, if the PaP has available days on the days, then I would like to request it and compare it what we have in the calendar. But now I changed my mind and I will think of to request it for all of the days of the year. We could assume the situation when our customer called us and he wants to run the train in Slovakia in every day. Let's do it like this. I assume you are familiar with the calendar, how to select the days, but just in advance we can do this. We can also by the year do this, but now I will do this. You can do by month, you can do by weeks, you can do individual days, and also you can be able to select ranges. If you want, you can do the same way. Select ranges work the moment. If you have selecting the first day, start of the day of the range, of your range, then you press the shift button. Okay, let me start. Then you have the blue border and you just move your mouse until the day you would like to do. This selection works the same way. I will select this and I press the button and I go back. You see? Oh, hope I forgot to click. That's my personal fault. Super. Now it works the way it is. That's a little bit of needs to be practiced, maybe how to select the range selection, how to select the days. That was just a small refreshing of the memory, how to handle the calendar days. But continue with our use case when we do have the selection for all of the days of the year I would like to achieve and order the PaP offer like this. As I said, if I would have been leaving the running days on 2, 4, 6, but now I will also press the check availability. It's like the screen has been blinking, then ready to show us then the checking has been finished. And how it looks like, everything looks okay. If the PaP was not available or will not be available, then the days that I will need it, I would have some warnings appearing in yellow, some yellowish color, then indicating not all of the days are available. Then you can modify a PaP request the way it is. Let's go to the next step. I will go to show preview. With the show preview, this is the timetable preview. Then we have how it also the view like the timetable view preview showing us how it would look like. Once we have added, this is going to be replaced with the PaP section. We have the PaP section available, all looking good. We press save. And what happened now? when I mentioned there will be some steps and some also issues that for regarding the calendar inconsistency, I would like to show you how to fix with some this dossier as well. We make it into really a harmonized request in all of the territories. The first thing what you get is for the extra running days. This because of that we have selected all the running days, and now I will go to the next tab of the timetable where we can see the territory calendars. We have we can click through the territories, we can check the calendars, we can see then the first territory from Slovenia is starting from by the weekly circulation at the 11th. Let's continue go further. For the second territory is also in line. It's also harmonized. But what we have done on the when adding the first day, I did not even take into account the first Sunday. This one. I have selected on purpose to show you how it would look like when we having the first Sunday issues. This is when first at the big when adding in the PaP request, and if you do remember for the picture, when the PCS was offering the running days, those days were also will not be containing. It disregarded because the PCS detected automatically the train that is departing from Slovenia. It will not be reaching the border until the next day. So that's so-called the first Sunday issue. The night might be you will be sometime in the future maybe will be get, and please remember how to solve it. Now I press save, and let's continue to see what had happened in the next step. We can see we still have extra running days. This is true because if you see either the territory view or we see the running days, then we have requested for all. When you're moving your mouse over the tooltip, you will be seeing then the calendar highlighting those days for us, indicating then something is wrong, I have more. And that's the good example of how to tell then the calendar is working from the top until the bottom when it's checking the running days, and it has been detected. Look with yellow color, then you are having extra running days compared it to the previous territory. Of course, we have added all of the days instead of it. Let's now fix it. We will go now. Of course, we are selecting correctly, clicking on the territory for the Slovakia. We will copy now the subpath, what we have now, because we want to fix the calendar day. But we are not going back to the territories calendar and removing days. Now I will want to show you copying of the subpath is also works in PCS when we select copy subpath with PaP. When you select copy subpath, it means it will be also just a tailor-made location, but we have the opportunity to choose the options for copy subpath with PaP. We do the same. Now we adding. We agree with the same because we are trying to request this PaP offer. But the same PaP offer will be used on other calendar days. When the calendar opens in the copy subpath wizard, now we can see then all of the calendar days have been highlighted with this orangish border. If we go down and scroll down to the end, we will see then everything, the legend will be described, what it is the indication it means really. It has been said and covered in the base subpath. The base subpath is the subpath where we are copying from. It's all good, we all know, because we have selected all of the days. So PCS help us to indicate, not just duplicating the tab and going back to the request to finding out if you do not remember for what days have been selected where we are copying from. Now we know everything is selected. Let's request the days. Now press the circulation days, then we had it originally in the request. On Slovakia, select 2, 4, and 6. Now press save. Either we can go to the preference preview, but now I will not use this feature. We will check the preference in a later step. Let's press save it, what we will have. Okay. We still have extra running days. Now we can see then our route has continuity. This would be able PCS to understand and PCS able to connect. And actually, this is the moment where we go to the path variance view. So please click on the path variance view. Then you will be saying, and the system telling you something is wrong, something that cannot be connected, and it tells you by the hint where you do have the problem. So I have the problem with this, the second subpath, if you do remember. Now we're going back to the territories tab. Please go back. Now we remember how to check if some of the subpaths we have problems. Clicking back to the territories tab. Scrolling down to the Slovakian territory, we have also this indication for us. How to resolve it? We can see on those days 1, 3, 5, 7, there is no continuity for the route. But I'm able to mark it as, let's go and press edit, as an alternative origin, or either if it could be on the top alternative or not the top, on the end of the territory of the subpath, then you can mark it as alternative destination. If you have a middle locations in the stretch, then you have both options, but it's depending on where the subpath is located in the path request. Now we have it on the top and there is no continuity. We mark it as alternative origin. Once you press it, the border of the icon will be highlighted with blue, indicating you have selected the options. And now we're going to save it. Let's look what will happen. All of the warning disappeared. It looks like from the calendar point of view, we have the harmonized request. Did you reach the same? Are you still have also what I do have on the screen?
Despite what's happened yesterday, today I'm following.
Super.
That's for me. That's for me.
Okay, thank you. So just I would like to stop for a minute. Okay, I just took some sip of water because I thought I will be in the desert so dried out. Now, I would like to continue with something. It's like a tip to you how to do it. Once might be, let's assume you receive another call from the customer, or they are going to change their mind, and the train that you are already placed it like it is, they need to have it to run it for, let's say, for example, another day. And how to do it with a couple of clicks. Generally, if you create Dossier, what does it mean for you? You can do, and you can copy the subpath the way it is. Then I have showed you just right now in the couple of moments before, and when the training session was all about how to edit and copy the subpaths or add the paths to it. We can do it by territory, tab by territory. But the truth is, we can do it in another way. PCS offers this opportunity, these options. If we go to the path variance view, let's click on the path variance. All good. We have two variants, path variants created according to the combination of the calendar that we have placed in. So the first one, the original route has been connected the way we have been defined, and we have the second variant created by us as a user variant. The user variant has different indication. Then when it is also for the alternative, if you do remember, that was the alternative origin. When clicking on the variant level, you will see also the whole stretch what has been added together. The collapsing also works here for the PaPs. You can do this. You can also create edit on the territory level. Then if you press the edit, if you think you need to edit something, then it brings you back to the applicant timetable, edit timetable view, but I will not press it now at the moment because I would like to do and copy the whole variant. I can do this without making extra editing and copying the subpath for each of the territory. I press copy and I can select the user variant. The user variant will be then the same as I have, meaning once it contains a PaP, then it will be copied over also, or you can do it without using the PaP Search, but this is not our goal to choose the second one. We go back to the first one. We go to the user variant, and what we do, if I scroll up and down, I can check the stations. I can see extra additional options to move it to the previous territory or to place it to somewhere else. But we will not touch it. And once you're doing it on the variant level, we do not really recommend to do the modifications from here because it could be easily mess up your PaP request. Leave it as it is. You just press go to the calendar, and we will add day 7. That was the second request to make our PaP request to modify. But now we will remove the 10th of December also, because the train will start to and depart from the 11th. So if we select everything and we leave the 10th of December the first Sunday, or into the PaP request, and we also will be restarting the same extra running days. So this is something to remember. If you do this, please think of what you have in the timetable. And now I will be pressing save. What has been done? Without necessary clicks, I have this here, I have this here, and I have this here. Of course, PCS detected the offset, what I had before. Everything is done with a couple of clicks, and we saved the time as well creating. That's the reason I have left the dossier in the draft version, meaning in the opening phase, because this is only this function works on the user variant level only in open phase. Once you release the dossier into harmonization, unfortunately you will lose control of the territory. Then then it will be shared with your partner companies. Then they will be responsible and they will get the edit rights on their territory. So everything looks okay now, but we still have to fix some of the things. We have now at the moment, I can see it's all looking good. I do not have any yellow warnings. Then there are some mandatory train parameters and something missing to add. What I can do now, I will be able to create a template which helps you in the future when you have regular train paths, regular trains to go on the same time or with the same the parameters. Then it will be useful for you. You can create some templates. Let me show how to do them. I will go, now I've selected the first one. Of course, we select that one which does not have and all the parameter values have been filled. Then I click the location. I go to edit and train parameters. I am happy at the moment with the same. I will not change anything. Then at the bottom, we have this new button available. Like when something is plus indicating you will add, you will create. Save as new template. We can press it. We save as new template. That was the Slovenian part. We can add something for you that Slovenia or online or whatever you would like to name your template, and you have to click the checkbox next to the template below the template name. Otherwise, if you will not check it, you will not be able to save your template, and it will then it's going to be empty. Nothing will be working the way that you would like to have. In some cases, when for some IAMs, we will see then I will go to that territory, like for example, Austria, they would need some IAMs need some questions they would raise as its so-called IAM parameters. Once we go to the territory, then we will see how the parameters, edit train parameters will be dividing into two sections. But before that, we press create template. Our template has been created. Now, nothing to do, just we leave the editing window, press cancel. Okay. And now what we will do, we will place in the Slovenian territory with templates. Then I press copy. I do train parameters from template. I press the template and I click what is going to be replaced and I press apply. What has been done? The copy is done. So I didn't need it to use some additional steps to go into the editor, train parameters, go into copying. As I said, it will be useful in the future if you have regular trains with the same parameters running, then it will make your life easier with saving a couple of clicks. We can do the same for the Austrian territory, and when I click into the Austrian territory, I have mentioned there are some IAMs they defining some extra informations, then you need to respond or need to give some technical data in order to run the train on the network. You press IAM parameters. Also, it has been hidden by the plus sign, plus when you will be opening. And you will see this video, we have to add the train, edit the train parameter. I have not responded to this. But I will stop here for a couple of moments because some of the IAM parameters can be defined by the IAM either on the dossier level, I would say so, then it's relevant for the whole dossier, or it could have been, then it will be having some dependency, or it could be different by location, by PaP section level. Dossier level parameters can be edited, and I have not done at the beginning for the basic session, for the basic part of the dossier. If I click to the basic data, now we will switch back to the basic data. And if you remember, when I've been showing how to collapse or expand the features for the IAM parameters, then we can do this. If I press, yeah, I cannot edit rail cargo house, rail TG, Hungary, yeah. Then it will be able to edit it with once it has been shared by the rail cargo Austria. We will do if we have some time more, we will do the harmonization and we will edit them. Some of the parameters can be edited by the involved companies. When you do it on the wizard and once before the split is done, then in the wizard you can fill the parameters for all of the agencies, but once the split is done, you won't be able to done it. We have the gray indication of the field. That was I was leaving at the end to remember if you have trying to add the dossier level parameters, you cannot do it because the split is done, either if you are in open phase. Once the dossier is harmonized with your partner, then your Rail Cargo Austria should be added. Let's go back to the applicant timetable. Let's create the second template. And now we will click on the first location. Edit train parameters. IAM parameters. A bestellung, everything looks okay. Then we press again, save a new template. It's just for the naming convention, whatever is going to be good for you. I press both because the sum of the values have been entered already. I create the template. And now I press cancel. Or sorry for yes, cancel, because the template has been already created. We have to exit the editing mode of the of the parameters. Now we go on to the top. We do the train parameters from template. We again select online. We select all of the options. Actually, we can leave the IAM parameters. We can edit the template later to have all the missing parameter values added. And but if you want, you can leave it as it is. We can leave it as it is, and we press apply. And now we don't have anything, any warning. Now I click the locations back. I will close and collapse them. We can do the same, but now at this time we have something prepared. We just go to the train parameters from template. We go to template. We go to Slovakia. We check and we apply. And as you may notice, we had more PaP sections and subpaths in the two of the subpaths that had been copied. We have more sections that where the parameters were missing. All of them have been added by using the template. I think it's quite useful for you in the future without editing and copying, but you can also do the copying of the train parameters or using the template. Both solution would work for you. One additional information, when you go on the PaP variant file, but I will not go into that, you can also copy let me show you. You can also copy the train parameters and do the activity and location times, but I will not go into it at the moment on these details. Now let's focus on to create another dossier with using the PaP Search. Let's exit the dossier. Click on the left side the RNA PCS icon. Okay. And now we're starting to use to create the dossier by using the PaP pre-constructed products. As I said, the PaP Search. As we remembering, let me just click on the search. As you have been remembering, we covered all of those steps for the agenda. We went through on each of them how to do it, except sending the harmonization. I have left it for the end. Without jumping at the moment, I don't want you to confuse if we're jumping in company to company. Before that, we will create the dossier from PaP Search, and I would like to show you, if you have still a couple of minutes, then to stay with me, how to accept an alternative offer and what to do once you receive an email, a notification for PCS, and how does this notification look like. Let me go back. Now we are going to use the field of the PaP ID. This we have not been checked, I think, previously. I said I will keep it at the end when we will be doing and creating the dossier from the PaP Search using first the PaP Search. So I will press C. Let's type in the PaP ID number C5 and P. And you will put the number, I think 015. I click search. Okay. What I was searching what I had in the result. I can see the whole entire stretch that has been published by our corridors. I can select the way it has been shown in the grid result. I will be choosing now all of them by clicking. I think, no, not all this page, then I will be using these options by one by. And now we have, as you remember, when the first time we will be using the PaP search window, we had the button saying add to dossier, and this is the difference of the actions when you do add selected to new dossier. We will be doing this, we will be adding all of them. Press add selected to a dossier. Now we have learned by now. Then we can close the sections. It's not fitting without scrolling. I would like to skip scrolling. I would like to make the screen as suitable for me as it can be customized. Now, now what I need to do is then it's like it has been placed to the wizard the way I have been in order selected in the same order. It's not on the right order. We have learned already if having the header, we can move it to the right place. Now I'm doing this. I'm placing in the right order. The train will depart from Czechia, from Ostrava Kunice, that this is the first section that we will use, and after we will place the second one. The second one is going to be, we can see and recognize by the destination. So the first is going until Břeclav Petnanázdí, then it will be the second is departing from that until to Břeclav, and the third one is going to be between Czechia and Austria. I think this is going to be the correct border station, going to go Glognice, and through Glognice we'll be reaching Slovenia. Let's check by the times. That's the quick overview. We can see it's harmonized. We have it in the right order, and we press continue. I will not enter anything. I will leave it as it is. As I said, then it's going to be, if we have only, and I will know I have only mandatory indications. If we check yellow, 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 that is mean required, yellow, yellow, yellow. Sorry for scrolling a little bit quickly for you. That are some of them already filled. I have the button available, meaning I can enter it later. I press continue. And now we reach the same step that I was been mentioning, and now I am referring to that part that I was explaining in the dossier before. Then I have this, if you have in the wizard, if you reach...
Excuse me, Anna, you went too far. Too quickly, too far.
Okay. Where are you now?
When I insert the PaPs, they were in the right order, and actually I don't have the beginning as you have with the Ostrava Kučanice.
Okay, that it means probably you have not selected it. You have to press cancel. Let's do it again. I cancel.
Yeah, I
Search.
cancel also. C5 NP 016. Search.
Not 16, 15.
15. Oh, that's it.
That's why. Tell me if you have everything. We select again everything.
Five of them. Select everything.
Add select it to a new dossier.
And then close the
headers to have the better visibility.
Yes.
Overview of the PaP sections.
Of course, yes.
Now we place it to the right place.
Okay. First one is Ostrava, yes.
Ostrava.
Bratslav.
Then we have Bratslav.
Yes.
Then we have the border between Czechia and Austria.
Yes.
Then we have Glognitz, going to Spielfeldstrasse, and Spielfeldstrasse is into Kopertornova. We have the right order.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Okay. No problem, thank you. Just stop me if something is not clear or I'm trying to go quickly. As I have mentioned, I will not enter anything. I will use the same options again, handy options. Then I will reaching the continue button. Let's continue. I will get to the dossier level data part, and I will have also mentioned and referring in the previous case. But I wanted to show you then how would look like once the split is done without exiting of the wizard. Now at the wizard, what you can notice, I can enter, and that was I was going to say, I can enter anything I want. I mean, at the moment on the wizard is you creating the PaP request for on behalf of everyone. You have the opportunity to add the fields and fill out the fields. What is could be mandatory, or what the information is needed to answer for the IM's response. But now I leave it as it is. I don't want to add anything more. I will be clicking continue. Train parameters. We also have learned. We have something that we can use later, or we can either edit it quickly, but we went through on it, how to do it. Honestly, I don't want to repeat it again, because something this is you can practice. You can edit it later. I just scroll to the bottom and I will press continue. We get to the calendar, most important part. All of the stretch would be available or not. I will be selecting Mondays. Why not? I press check availability. What it will happen? We can check all the PaP stretch, the whole stretch that we have been using. Now in this dossier, do we have any errors, any warnings indicating in yellow? Because warnings are yellow, reds are some errors. So this is the difference between them. All good, fine. The PaP is available on the days that I would like to request. I will press continue. Then we reach the wizard step of the PaP variance view. We have gone through of the PaP variance view. We can see how would it look like the whole stretch again by the first time having the splitting by the territory. All fine. We go continue. And what is the difference? This is that can be shown. Once you creating the dossier the first time from the PaP search, then the basic data is placed at the end as the 7th step. But once you create the dossier with the new the create new dossier wizard, then it's going to be placed and you start the interaction with the basic data and you don't have the reordering PaPs step into the wizard. We name it, we've learned, we use our initials, and we can put RFC training 14 to make differences or something. Whatever it just tells you something, but we learned it by the indication. We're always using our initials in the test system, then it's just showing for others, then it is testing is your ones and belongs to you. Do not mess it up. And we press create dossier. Now, we have everything in one place. That's the way how to create dossier from the wizard. We still have one use case. Then I would like to show it. For that also, I would like to open for just a second my emails. This something is really missed yesterday. Let me find it in notifications. Yes. Once important to remember. Let me open it. It opened in my other screen. I just move it back to the other side. Important for you. Once you receive such a notification emails, and that's why it's just a reminder for you, then always keep your personal data up to date, especially your email addresses, and set the notifications to the way then enabling most of the options, because in this case, once we do the harmonization and you request a PaP and in some reason the PaP will not be available, someone was the winner before, and the corridor, the COSS manager of the Rayfield corridors, they can offer, if they have the opportunity, to replace the PaP with another one, then they offer another alternative so-called offer. Then in this case, you will receive if the notification is on and this email, you have to log into the system. You can do it by clicking on the link. You will know what is going to be done. This dossier has been prepared with another applicant. Let me just show you the case. Yes. I will be closing. No, not closing because I have this dossier. Oh yeah, it's over 2 hours. Then we have the session resetting back the screen to the main screen. Let me log in. And we have this one, this one. That dossier has been prepared. It is done by the RFC saying by the email Then you have an alternative offer that needs to be accepted. The original, if we check the applicant timetable, the original offer was with the PaP ID C57911 and P2, but that one, as I said, has been offered to someone. Someone was earlier and someone took it, was the winner for that. If you go into this phase, alternative offered phase, where the dossier is to the COSS timetable, you will be able to see the changes. And here we can notice it, and this is the new PaP number ID, but the same stretch has been replaced. By going to control, once you set your lights and telling in this phase, in the alternative offer that has been offered by the corridor, either you accept, either you reject. So once setting the light bar indicating then accepted, then you should be able to accept the offer. That's the meaning of this phase. Then I was wanted to tell you and share it to you. And I think I've been covering all of the other agendas that we have been had for these purposes, except we did not send for the original dossier what we have been using the most. This one. And
But I think that for this one we can start with the advanced session with this as a first step. So I think for this intermediate part it can be fine.
I hope that all of you have been really able to create the same dossier, but we have all the steps you could follow me, and I hope then I helped you to a little bit to gain a little more knowledge on PCS, and you now know some couple of tricks. And I will check then if the dossiers have been created, if I can go to the dashboard. Yes, thank you. Going to change the columns, then, and this is something useful to do. Go use the indication of the traffic light expanded options, then we will be able to see if I just relocate the name, closing the columns. Thank you for that. And then I can see some of you have already created the dossier and some of you have already used the PaP into the dossier. I hope you find it useful. Thank you for your attentions, and might meet you on the advanced session.
Yeah.